Edwards sidestep, can't get it before Hartenstein. Fumble a little bit, the Thunder hold on. Hartenstein, alley-oop to Holmgren. And a technical foul called on Edwards. And that's going to be his 14th technical of the season. He leads the NBA.
Hey Voopers Yapper, buckle up because the Minnesota Timberwolves are in a heated battle for playoff positioning, and every game from here on out could make or break their season. But there's a growing concern that has Wolves fans holding their breath. Anthony Edwards, the team's electrifying young superstar, is dangerously close to an automatic suspension. With just 2 more technical fouls left before he gets hit with an automatic 1-game suspension, Ant-Man is walking a fine line. And let's be real, when you play with the kind of passion and fire that Edwards brings every night, keeping emotions in check isn't always easy. Whether it's jawing with the refs, getting caught up in the heat of the moment, or just pure frustration boiling over, Edwards is in a tricky situation. The stakes could be higher. The Timberwolves are scrapping for playoff positioning in the ultra-competitive Western Conference, where a single loss could mean the difference between home court advantage or a brutal first-round matchup. Can Edwards keep his cool when the pressure is at its peak? Or will this competitive fire end up costing the Wolves at the worst possible time? Let's break it all down. Sunday night showdown between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder had everything: high-level shot-making, intense back-and-forth action, and a playoff-like atmosphere. The game ended in a 130-123 victory for the Thunder, but for Anthony Edwards, the final score wasn't the biggest takeaway of the night. Instead, it was a growing problem that could have serious consequences down the stretch: his rising technical foul count. Midway through the third quarter, Edwards attacked the rim with his signature explosiveness, taking contact but not getting the whistle he expected. He hit the floor hard, clearly frustrated, and let the refs know about it. And just like that, technical foul number 14. Now, here's why that's a major problem. NBA rules are crystal clear. Once a player reaches 16 technical fouls in a season, they face an automatic 1-game suspension along with a $5,000 fine. After that, every 2 additional technicals mean another suspension. With 24 games left in the regular season, Edwards is playing with fire. The Timberwolves need him on the floor, not sitting on the bench because of a suspension. The question now is, can he rein in his emotions and avoid costly whistles, or will this passion and intensity push him over the edge? The clock is ticking, and the margin for error is razor thin. Frustration is understandable, especially when you compare Anthony Edwards' free throw numbers to some of the league's biggest stars, particularly his opponent from Sunday night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Edwards has spoken out before about the calls SGA gets, and Timberwolves fans haven't been shy about voicing their opinions either. Many have even dubbed SGA a free throw merchant, a player who thrives on getting to the line rather than purely outplaying his defenders. But is that really the case? Is there a clear disparity in how the referees treat these 2 elite guards? Let's break it down. The numbers tell an interesting story. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the entire NBA in free throws made per game, averaging 7.9. He's also 3rd in free throw attempts, getting to the line 8.8 times per game. On the other hand, Anthony Edwards is slightly behind, ranking in the 81st percentile of players in foul drawing frequency, with 12.3% of his shot attempts resulting in free throws. Compare that to SGA, who sits at an elite 15.3%, ranking in the 93rd percentile. So the difference is clear. SGA isn't just lucky, he's simply better at drawing fouls. Now, some might argue that Edwards plays through contact more, absorbing hits and finishing strong rather than seeking whistles. Meanwhile, SGA has mastered the art of deception, using body control, hesitation moves, and subtle arm hooks to bait defenders into fouling him. And honestly, that's a fair argument. But like it or not, getting to the line is a skill in today's NBA. The best scorers don't just rely on athleticism. They find ways to manipulate defenses and maximize efficiency. That's exactly why SGA is in the MVP conversation this season. So while Edwards may feel like he's getting the short end of the whistle, the reality is that Gilgeous-Alexander has perfected a craft that Edwards is still developing. And if Ant-Man wants to take his game to the next level, he might have to learn a few tricks from SGA himself. With the Timberwolves currently sitting at 7th place in the Western Conference, the margin for error is razor thin. Every game from here on out is crucial, not just for seeding, but for avoiding the dreaded play-in tournament altogether. And that means one thing: Minnesota needs Anthony Edwards on the court, not on the sidelines serving a suspension. But here's the big question: Can Edwards keep his emotions in check when the pressure is at its highest? Minnesota has 24 games left to solidify their playoff position, and the road ahead isn't exactly smooth. They'll have to battle against elite competition like the Denver Nuggets, Boston Celtics, and Phoenix Suns, not to mention crucial head-to-head matchups against Western Conference rivals. In a conference this competitive, even a single missed game could make a huge difference. If Edwards picks up 2 more technicals, he'll be forced to sit out a game, and depending on when that suspension comes, it could be the difference between locking in a top 6 seed or getting dragged into the unpredictable chaos of the play-in tournament. So, what's the solution? Well, for starters, Edwards has to focus on controlling his emotions, especially when calls don't go his way. We've seen stars like Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins struggle with technical fouls in the past, but when the stakes were highest, they learned how to adjust and keep their cool. The Wolves need their leader to do the same. Edwards is the heart and soul of this team, and if he wants to take them to the next level, he has to channel his passion into production, not frustration. The playoffs are within reach, but if Ant-Man isn't careful, his emotions could end up being the Wolves' biggest roadblock. So, what do you think? Can Anthony Edwards keep his emotions in check and avoid a costly suspension, or will this frustration end up hurting the Timberwolves at the worst possible time? This could be a defining moment for both Edwards and Minnesota's season, and we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Will Ant-Man rise to the challenge, or are we about to see fireworks down the stretch? And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the latest NBA news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.